And who would have thought the Jets would be over 500 this year? That's the most surprising team to me yet. And it starts with Zach Wilson, man. Shout out to Zach Wilson, 210 yards this game. And really, the Jets, man, could they make the playoffs this year? Am I jumping to conclusions way too quickly? Am I jumping over the line? But I really think, man, the Jets 3-2 right now. I think this is the biggest surprise for NFL today, man. Nobody really expected the Jets to do this right now. I mean, am I just like out of line right here or what? Because I did not think the Jets would really be over 500, dude. I really didn't. So I'm really surprised. And really, I should have went Jets in this pick because looking back, I'm like, well, why am I taking Miami? Tua's out, and really, they look banged up. They just do not look like the same team, and they don't, dude. And the Jets, man, they handled it nice, man. Brees Hall, 100 yards off 2 receptions for the Jets, and it was all New York Jets, man. I'm actually excited for the New York Jets this year. And like I said, it starts with Zach Wilson and really what he could do, and really the sky's the limit for the Jets, man. I know it sounds crazy because the Jets have been so piss poor for years, dude, in years. And now all of a sudden they're making some noise. So shout out to the New York Jets, shout out to Zach Wilson. What a dub. The Tennessee Titans versus the Washington Commanders. I had the Titans here. They covered. What a pick by me. And it started with Derrick Henry. 102 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Like I said, if you guys cannot stop Derrick Henry in the Tennessee Titans run game, that's it, dude. It's a wrap. Tennessee's going to beat you, and that's how they're going to beat you. Old school football. We're going to run it down your throat. We're going to run it up the middle, and we're going to make you guys beat us. We're gonna utilize your weakness, dude. We're going to exploit it and attack your weakness, and that's what they did. And the Tennessee Titans did that great. You know, Ryan Tannehill, 181 yards and a touchdown. You know, Carson Wentz, 2 touchdowns and a pick. But Carson Wentz, man, he's just, dude, he's not a good quarterback. He's not. That's why the Indianapolis Colts let him go, and we got another trash quarterback in Matt Ryan. But looking at Carson Wentz, dude, it's piss poor as well. It's really hard to watch, dude. It is, dude. It's just like, oh my gosh, dude. How are you throwing some of these terrible balls, dude? Like, straight up, dude. So Carson Wentz, he's trash. But shout out to the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry getting the dub. And then we got the Houston Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I told you guys this was the upset pick of the week right here. This was the upset alert game right here. Even though I went Jacksonville, it was all the Houston Texans. It just made sense to me. Watching the NFL for years, this was one of the games where it was like, man, I can see the Houston Texans stealing a win here, and they did. Davis Mills, 140 yards passing. Dameon Pierce, 99 yards rushing and a touchdown. And really, Jacksonville didn't just show up to play. And it started with Trevor Lawrence. He had 2 interceptions. Didn't really play well either. You know, we saw him, start off really sloppy, but, hey, what a win by the Houston Texans. You know, a lot of people went Jacksonville in Jacksonville, but to me, something was telling me to go Houston Texans. So big win by the Houston Texans. And then we got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers fires their head coach. Baker Mayfield's hurt. Baker Mayfield, I always thought from the jump, was not really a good quarterback. He didn't have a good long ball, wasn't accurate, and really they just look terrible, dude. Baker Mayfield, an interception off 215 yards passing against the 49ers. This was one of the easiest picks all weekend. I went San Francisco because of their defense and because Baker Mayfield's an average at best quarterback. I mean, that's why I picked him, dude. McCaffrey, 54 yards and a touchdown, but that's it, dude. That's all Carolina has is Christian McCaffrey. That's literally it, dude. Everybody else, just kind of like, oh, man, they're hard to watch. But Jimmy G, 253 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Debo, a touchdown on my fantasy squad. Shout out to Debo. I'm telling you what, San Francisco, they're rolling right now. They're playing well, and it starts with their defense and Jimmy G. So big win by them. And like I said, Carolina, they're on the outside looking in. Baker Mayfield is probably going to be out a couple weeks or benched, whatever. But, shout out to the San Francisco 49ers. And then we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Arizona Cardinals. Philly won. They didn't cover the 5. They're still the only undefeated team left in the NFL. And that starts with Jalen Hurts, 239 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Philly, man, I cannot believe it either. Them and the Jets really surprised me, and Philadelphia is still undefeated. Yes, this weekend they played the Dallas Cowboys. That's on a primetime game. I can't wait for that. But looking at Philly and thinking, wow, how are they undefeated? Not just because of Jalen Hurts is playing well, Miles Sanders, those guys. I think it's really their defense and the pressure to get on the quarterback. I think Philly is legit, man. There's a reason they're undefeated, and they're going to eventually lose, right? Unless you're the Dolphins back in the 70s did not lose. But I just think Philly right now, man, they're just clicking. They're the most consistent team right now. now. They have composure. They're just, everything's clicking on all cylinders. So I like Philly right now. That's why I took Philly, even though a lot of the experts, a lot of the experts had, Arizona with the upset pick. In Arizona, Kyler Murray, it made sense. Kyler Murray, 250 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Marquise Brown, a touchdown off 78 yards receiving, but it just wasn't enough. And I went Philly because they're undefeated and they're the better team. That's why I took them. Even though a lot of the experts had them, Arizona with the upset, I still had to go Philly. They're still the only undefeated team for a reason. Shout out to Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. And then we got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Cincinnati Bengals, I picked Cincy with the upset here. I thought they'd get the job done because the Baltimore Ravens defense has played terribly. Except this game, they showed up. They only won by 2, so they didn't cover. If you went money line, you would have hit. Lamar kind of had a quiet game. 174 yards passing, a touchdown, and a pick. Mark Andrews, 89 yards passing and a touchdown, or 89 yards receiving and a touchdown. Mark Andrews, Lamar's favorite target. So I think if you guys got Mark Andrews on your fantasy squad, you're winning, no doubt about it. So big win by the Ravens. I think this was a huge win by the Ravens. I think the Ravens needed this more than the Bengals because, we look at the Ravens and say, wow, there are opportunity for them to be undefeated. They gave up a big lead against Miami earlier in the season where they should have clearly won that game, dude. There's some games where it's like, man, Baltimore's defense did not come up to play, and they did this game. Joe Burrow just a touchdown and a pick. This game kind of quiet as well, but the Ravens with Justin Tucker hitting the game-winning field goal, this was a huge win by the Baltimore Ravens. And we'll look back at this. If the Baltimore does squeak into the playoffs, this is one of the games where we're going to be like, wow, we're going to circle this and be like, you remember where they beat Cincy, with David Tucker's game-winning field goal, but what a win. And then we got the Monday Night Football game, the Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I went Raiders, even though they jumped off to a quick lead. They didn't get it done. They lost 29-30. This was a shootout game. Patrick Mahomes and Derek Carr had great games. Travis Kelce snapped off, dude. And really, it was just all Kansas City at the end. Looking at Las Vegas Raiders, only 1 win this year. And the reality is you guys got to start to get on a win streak here. Because if the Las Vegas Raiders continue to lose at the pace they're going, they're probably going to be like, dude, that's it for them. They're going to miss the playoffs or something. And all the talent they have, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs had a great game. Those guys, man, they have so much talent. There's no reason for the Las Vegas Raiders to only have 1 win this year. They're one of the most disappointing teams to me because they have so much talent, so much skill on the roster where it's like, how? How are you guys only 1 game in and only 1 dub? This just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if it's coaching or whatnot, but looking at it, dude, they're going to have to turn around their season or else, Derek Carr's going to be looking in and saying, wow, dude, we're not even going to make the playoffs in week 8, dude. Like, straight up. Like, they're going to have to do something to turn around. But week 5 was great. My Indianapolis Colts on that ugly Thursday night game. And then, like I said, really the best pick all weekend was definitely the Dallas Cowboys beating the LA Rams because the Cowboys are legit. They got the defense. So what a weekend for NFL football, baby. It's the Clown with Gab show. Let's go!